ॐ श्रीं नमो अरिहन्ताणं ॐ श्रीं नमो सिद्धाणं ॐ श्रीं नमो आयर्याणं ॐ श्रीं नमो उवच्छायाणं ॐ श्रीं नमो लोये सव्वसाहूणम् एषो पञ्चणमुक्कारो सव्वभावपणासनो मङ्गलाणं च सव्वेसिं पठमं हवै मङ्गलम् पठमं हवै मङ्गलम्। आराध्य देव की श्री चरणों में सब भक्ति वंदना। परम पूज्य गुरुदेव आचार्य श्री महाश्रमण जी के श्री चरणों में सब भक्ति वंदना। So, Adi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Adi, can you summarize what did we learn in the last class, in the previous class?
So basically,
We cannot hear you properly, Adi.
what we learned in the last class is that there are two bodies in the world, and which are
Okay, let me summarize. So, suppose this is whole space, which is called a lok or no cosmos. In this whole big space, there is something which is called our cosmos. It's just a pinpoint, a smallest thing in this whole space, and this is our lok. Okay, now we are talking about our lok. This is, I have drawn it bigger, but this is just a point, a pinch in this whole cosmos. Now what is lok made up of? Can anyone say? Arav, can you say what is lok made up of?
The four types of gatis.
Can you be louder?
The four gatis.
No. So this is our lok, okay? This is made up of 6 essentials. You have also learned in your Gyanshala classes as well. So this is Dharmastikay, right? Dharmastikay, Adharmastikay means medium of motion. Medium of motion. Medium of stillness. Akashastikay.
Then there's also Kal.
Yes, very good. Kal, Pudgalastikay, which is total of matter, and Jivastikai. Okay, so now we are learning about Jivastikai. We will learn about other essentials, other things in later classes maybe. Now what we are doing is we are learning for Jivastikai. So if I talk about Jivastikai, the basic 2 types of soul in this cosmos are 2 types of soul. 2 types of basic soul. Number 1, the one who resides here in Siddhashila, which are called liberated souls, and others who live in the whole cosmos are called, what do they call? Can anyone say?
Mundane.
Very good, mundane souls. Okay, now when we talk about the 4 gatis, we talk about the mundane souls. We do not talk about the liberated souls. What is the difference between liberated soul and mundane soul? These are not associated with karmas, okay? But all kind of mundane souls, they are associated with karmas, okay? So whatever we learn whatever we learn about the gati, we talk about the mundane souls. So how many gatis are there? We all know there are basically 4 types of gatis. Okay, what does gati mean? Can anyone say? Can anyone say what does gati mean?
Like, uh,
Yes, anyone is?
I think it's like no, actually, I'm not sure.
Okay. So gati is a Hindi word which actually basically means movement. But here we will learn gati is a journey between, sorry, not journey between. Gati is a journey from one birth to another, or the condition or situation that we reside. So gati can be related with place, but it is not always related with place. Actually, it is a condition or situation. Okay. Now there are 4 types of gati we know. Who will name them? Rishabh, will you name them?
Narak,
Okay.
Tiryansh,
Yes.
Manusha, and Devgati.
Very good. So if I ask you why this is only the sequence of the gatis, can anyone say? Why we talk first about Narak, then Tiryansh, then Manusha, and then Devgati? Can anyone say? Prahi, would you like to answer? Come on, put your logics.
Because like it's from worst to best.
Very good. It is from worst to best. So Naragati is said to be the most painful. Painful gati. Tiryansh, there is less pleasure. There are pleasures, and Devgati has the highest pleasure. So it is from worst to best. So if I ask you to again chronologize this 4 gatis in best to worst, who would like to answer? Ayush, if I tell you again to organize these gatis from best to worst, then what will be the numbering?
First is Dev, second is Manusya, third is Tiryansh, and fourth is Nara.
Very good. So whenever you're going to ask that arrange these gatis on the basis of worst to best or best to worst, you have to be careful about the question. Okay. So from when we talk about from worst to best, we have to answer from Narak, Tiryansh, Manusha, and Dev. But if we talk about from best to worst, you have to answer like Dev, Manusha, Tiryansh, and Narak. Now, which is the best gati? Can anyone say?
Devgati.
Manusha?
Who answered Manushya?
That was me, Rishabh.
Oh, Rishabh. Okay. And who answered Dev?
Me, Adi.
Okay. Adi, you were in the last class, right? Then you should know this. If I say which is the best gati, why Manushya is the best gati? Rishabh, can you answer?
Manusha is the best gati because like it has good deeds like punya.
No, there are Punya and Devgati as well.
Yeah.
In Manashigati, you could like get rid of your karmas.
Yes, you can help yourself to get rid of your karmas. Now you have to note down all these, okay? Because you'll be given mega quiz on some day when there will be some more classes, and then you have to answer all these questions. So you have to note everything, okay? Now, if we talk about the places where all these gatis are, so as we learned in the last class, so there are 7 naraks here, okay? This is the middle cosmos where we reside. Devtas reside in 4 places. There are 4 kind of devs. Bhavanpati, can anyone name them? So there are 4 kind of devs. Bhavanpati Dev, Vyantar Dev, Jyotishk Dev and Vaimanik Dev. Okay? Jyotishk Dev and Vaimanik Dev. Okay, who can tell me that Tirthankar belong to which of these devs? Can you make any guess that Tirthankar belong to which type of dev? Arav, any guess?
Bhavanpati Dev.
Okay, any other one? Rishabh, would you like to guess something?
So, which is like part of the Dev?
Yes, Tirthankar belong to which kind of dev?
Mavir?
I'm asking which type of dev does Tirthankar belong to? So you have to know, you have to remember that Tirthankar does not belong to Dev Gati. Tirthankar belong to Manushya Gati. Okay, they are Manushya. Because only Manushya Gati can help us to go to moksha. Only Manushya Gati can help us to get rid of karmas, and Tirthankar gets rid of how many karmas?
8.
Are you sure? 8 or 4? See, the souls who shed off all the 8 karmas are liberated souls, okay? Liberated souls are the one who get rid of all the 8 karmas. But if we talk about the Tirthankars, they shed off 4 karmas, okay? So whenever you talk about siddhas or liberated souls, you will talk about 8 karmas. But when we talk about the Tirthankar, they shed off 4 karmas, okay? They belong to Manushya Gati and they shed off 4 karmas. So where do Tirthankar reside in this whole cosmos? They reside here, okay? Now, when they will shed off their more 4 karmas, they will straight away go to this place. So this is called Siddhashila. I think you all know this. This is Siddhashila, okay? Everything is clear? Any confusion? So these kind of 4 devs, they reside in this cosmos. So if I talk about Bhavanpati Dev, they reside below the middle cosmos. Vyantar Dev, they reside in the middle cosmos. Jyotish Dev, they reside little bit above the middle cosmos. And Vaimanik Dev, they reside just below the Siddhashila. So there are 26 Vaimanik, there are 26 heavens, which is called Vaimanik Dev. So these Devta reside just below the Siddhashila. All the Narak people, Narak living beings reside here. Bhavanpati Dev reside here. Vyantar Dev reside in the middle cosmos. Jyotish Dev reside just above where we live, and Vaimanik Dev reside just below the below the Siddhashila. Where do we reside? Can anyone say? Among all these places, where do we reside?
The middle portion.
Yes, this middle cosmos. Okay, we reside in middle cosmos. Okay. In the last class, we learnt about one example which states the rarity of Manushya Gati. Can anyone say that? Manushya Gati is a very rare Gati to get. Actually, we are very, very, very lucky that we have got Manushya Gati, human birth. How rare is it? There was an example that I stated in the last class. Can anyone say that? Prahi, did you remember the example of grain?
Yeah, it was like something with like different types of grains.
Yes, and then?
And like, I think trying to separate them.
Listen, you have to learn, okay? So there are 10 examples which Lord Mahavir stated that to explain how rare human birth is. See, the whole of the cosmos has the capacity to reside the living beings. But why we are in the middle cosmos? This is because we have earned or shed off many, many, many karmas. And we are very lucky that we have got the human birth. So there is an example that how rare a human birth is. Suppose there is a big can. There is a big can. Now this can is full of many types of grains. Can you name any of the grains, Arav? Wheat, Ayush? Ayush, Rishabh, would you like to name any kind of grain?
Rice.
Very good. Rishabh,
Yeah.
any kind of grain would you like to say? So suppose this can is full of multiple grains, okay? Full of multiple grains. There is no space which is left unfilled, full of multiple grains. Now, if I ask you to just put one muthi, yani one palm of sunflower seeds. Do you know sunflower seeds? Do you know sunflower seeds? How small is
Yeah.
sunflower seeds, right? So if I ask you to put one muthi, means one palm full of sunflower seeds in this full big can full of many other grains. Now, if I ask someone, a lady who is 90-year-old, whose eyesight is not good, who has less energy, is not energetic, who has less power in her body, and if I ask her, just bring out the sunflower seeds from this whole can filled up of other grains, is that possible? Prahi, is that possible?
No.
So in this way, see, this is so rare. I mean, if she gets any help from Dev, then only she can help herself to bring out all the sunflower seeds. So this is such a tough job. So Lord Mahavir said, getting human birth is toughest from this job as well. This is a tough job. There is a job which can be tougher, and there can be another job which is toughest. So getting human birth is even toughest of all these jobs. So in this way we have to understand that Manushya Gati is a very rare Gati. Now, why is it rare? Anyone can answer. Means what is the difference between a Dev Gati or a Manushya Gati? Can anyone say what is the difference between Manushya Gati and Dev Gati? We did it in the last class. We are still revising the last class only. See, the first thing is our life is not just dependent on ourselves. Whatever we eat, we drink, we sit upon, we live in a house, everything is made up of, means maximum things are made up of by harming other living beings, by harming one sense living beings. And not just harming, by killing them. Actually it is killing one sensed living being. Suppose you sleep on a bed, right? What is bed made up of? The bed is made up of mattresses and of course the wood. Where does wood come from? Wood come from trees. Trees are one sensed living being. Again, if I talk about the mattresses, even mattresses come from a flower. Sorry. Flower is again one sense living being. Whatever you eat vegetables, you drink water, that is again one sense living being. So we have to understand our life is actually dependent on the killing of one sense living being. So why should we pray for the moksha? So that we can stay in a sense, we can stay in a state where we can live without killing one sensed beings. So that is the reason why we should pray for moksha. Now that is only possible by Manushya Gati. Dev Gati, of course, Tiryans and Narak beings cannot do hard work for moksha. Only Manushya can do that. Why Dev cannot do that? Because to go to moksha, if we want to go to moksha, we need two things. If you want to go to moksha, you just need two things. What are two things? Can anyone say? To go to moksha, what do you require? What do you need to do? Yes, Arav?
You need to shed all karmas.
Yes. So what you have to do is, first you have to shed all karmas. And most importantly, you have to do one more thing. You have to stop letting other karmas into your soul. So this is the most important thing. Stopping other karmas to enter your soul. Now, which is more important? Can you say to shed all the karmas or stop letting other karmas? Rishabh, what do you think? Which is most important? To shed or to let not other karmas enter our soul?
To stop letting other karmas enter your soul.
Why not shedding karmas?
Like if you shed karmas, like then they can like go away from you.
So, see.
What?
See, every karma has a lifespan, okay? So there will be a time when karma will shed off. But if we do not stop other karmas to enter our soul, there this chain will never end. You know. So suppose this is a curve, it gave fruits, now it shed off. But if we react to the karma, we actually again bind karma. And then it again will give fruit, then we will react, then we will bind, then again karma will give fruit, then we will react, and then we will bind. So how do we stop reaction? We stop reaction by tyag or pachkhan or pratyakhyan. So if we start doing tyag or pratyakhyan, this is actually called samvar. To shedding of karmas means nirjara, and this is called samvar. To stop karma is called samvar. So this is only possible through pratyakhyan. So actually we have to focus more on samvar so that we actually stop or we actually do not allow other karmas to enter our soul, and then we can go to moksha. Now do you know this the journey between one gati to another gati is called antaral gati. Suppose this is our cosmos. Suppose this is our cosmos and you are here. Okay. Now, if you have done bad karmas and you have to go somewhere in the narak here, then either you can travel straight, or if there is not possibility of traveling straight, what you will do, you'll come here, you'll come here, and then you will go here. So the journey between two gatis is called antaral gati. Okay. Suppose you have got human birth. Now you're going to travel to. Suppose you're going to travel to Siddha. So you'll travel straight. So this traveling from one gati to moksha, this is called antaral gati. Now this antaral gati can be of two types. Either it can be straight or it can be curved. So if this is straight, this is called Riju Gati. And if it is curved, this is called Vakra Gati. Suppose you are somewhere here and you want to go somewhere here, then what you will do, you'll go here, then you'll go here, then you will go here. So there are curves in this gati, right? There are curves in this line. So this curved gati is called Vakra Gati. And when you travel just straight, suppose you are here and you are just traveling straight here. So this straight gati is called Riju Gati. समझ में आया क्या? आयुष समझ में आया क्या?
Yeah.
So what is Riju Gati and what is Vakra Gati? Ayush, what is Riju Gati and Vakra Gati? Tell me. Ayush, aren't you here?
Yeah. I forgot.
So the journey between two gatis, if that is straight, then it will be Riju Gati. And if the journey between two gatis is curved, then it will called Vakra Gati. Okay. Now this Riju Gati only takes one samay to travel. And this Vakra Gati can take maximum 4 samay to travel. Now what is samay? Who can say? Do you know what is samay?
like time. Sort of.
So samay, according to Indian philosophy or Indian literature, it is time. But according to Jain literature or Jain technical words, samay is the smallest unit of time. You know how small it is? When you just blink your one eye, असंख्य समय यानी innumerable समय goes off. This is so small. Just you blink your eyes once, and in that one blink, innumerable units of samay goes off. So think, this is so short. आरव क्या समझ में आया? समय क्या है?
Samay is the smallest unit of time.
How small is it?
In the blink of an eye, innumerable samays go away, so it's like super small. Like
Yes, it is very small. And when one living being die from one place, and when he goes to another place, maximum time that he can take is just 4 samay. This is not second, this is very less than a second as well. So only if we think, if someone has died, we talk about him, we say, why isn't he here, where is he, let me talk to him, let he come back. So that is not possible, because we actually realize that someone has died. Before that, his soul travels to another birth and another journey and another gati and takes birth there. So this is very small, and we have to understand the Jain technology, that this is very small. And even that is a journey which we talk about, Riju Gati. Riju Gati is just of one samay. This is Vakra Gati, which can be maximum of 4 samay, but Riju Gati is just of 1 samay. So this is all for today. Any queries? So there is no query. I'm sending you a quiz. The quiz also contains some other questions which are basics from Jainism. So you should answer that also. So we are going to check your Jain knowledge as